Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Brittany. Today we're going to talk about how I quit my job and moved to Lake Atitlan in Guatemala. I have been in Guatemala now for 10 days officially. I came here on November 10th on my 33rd birthday. I quit my job and everything just to come here. So 2 years ago, I quit my job and I decided that I was gonna move to Mexico, or at least like travel through Mexico and Guatemala. And during that time, I did my 200-hour yoga teacher training here in Guatemala, here at the lake. And 2 years ago, when I made that decision to quit my job and go on this journey, at the time, I really wanted to change the trajectory of my life. I was a waitress at the time, serving in like private clubs, and I didn't want to do that anymore. I knew in my heart that I wanted to live a life of expansion. I wanted my life to feel very full. I wanted to travel and teach and learn and create, and I wasn't really doing that when I was working these waitressing jobs. Packed my entire life into a backpack and set off on this journey. I traveled through Mexico and Guatemala for about 4 months. I had completed my training, and then I was living in Antigua for a while, had found a place to stay. I had a roommate, and I was going to Spanish classes, and I was going to daily yoga classes, and so they granted me an opportunity to be able to teach. And so I was able to teach a couple classes, and at the time, things seemed to be moving in the right direction. But then at some point, a lot of fear and doubt crept into my mind. And also I was running out of money. I made the decision to just stop everything and go back home to the States. I moved in with my mom, and I originally had a plan that I was going to just only be there for a few months, and then I was going to leave again, and I was going to move abroad again. Well, life is funny because it did not happen that way. Fast forward 2 years, I ended up living with my mom for the past 2 years, and I got a job working at a grocery store. And in the beginning, I was trying to reconcile two different lives. So here I was, this new woman, I had left the country for a while. I got certified to teach yoga. I was growing in ways that I never thought that I would. And then here on the other hand, I was also a version of my old self, working jobs that didn't really fulfill me. So I was trying to reconcile the two at the time. And eventually, I slowly started to fall into a depression. I wasn't practicing, I wasn't teaching. All of my time and my energy was going into my job. Eventually, it took a while, it took 2 years, but I just kind of got to the point where I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I had a lot of guilt for the woman at the time, 2 years ago, that I was growing into. I felt like I had abandoned her, she was so brave and so courageous to step out on faith and to do things differently and to rewrite her own story. And there was a part of me that just kind of felt shame and felt guilt, that like I was giving up on this woman. Yeah, I just decided, you know what, like I got to give myself another chance. And so I ended up quitting my job once again. And I packed up all of my things and I came back to the lake. Like I said, this is where I got certified to teach yoga. And I can't lie, I don't have everything figured out. Sometimes I wonder if I may have made a impulsive decision because even though I was not like fully fulfilled in what I was doing, it was stable, I had a roof over my head. I had very stable income. I had actually got promoted and was in line for another promotion. And yeah, I gave all of that up, and it is scary. Gave up that stability, but at the same time, I knew that in my heart, like my heart was craving something so much more, something so much more fulfilling and aligned. And so now I'm here and I'm taking intentional time for myself. I'm getting back into my practice. I'm taking the time to like really reflect. I'm doing a lot of journaling, writing out my thoughts. I'm making these videos. Also something that I've wanted to do for a very long time was create videos. And I've been encouraged in the past by family and friends to do this because I have lived a very exciting life, and I do have many stories to tell. This is like take two. This is take two of me trying to build a life that is authentic to me and that is fulfilling to my soul. I don't think that it's going to be easy. I really don't think it's going to be easy, but I owe it to myself to try. I owe it to myself to be authentic. I owe it to myself to take this path, So if anyone is interested in following along on this journey of becoming, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I really don't know what direction my content is going to take, but we'll see. And I just hope that you enjoy it either way. So until next time.